Hello, welcome to this week's astrological transits. And today we're starting our week getting closer to this major conjunction right here with Mars and Uranus. You can see today, 22-degree Mars, uh, getting ever closer to Uranus. And we've talked about this a little bit already. We can already feel this energy. It's like a lightning strike ready to happen. It's like throwing gasoline on an already lit fire. um, I'll talk about this more in a little bit, but this is the elephant in the living room. Other than that, we'll look at our moon to start with. The moon, I think, kind of sets the tone for the week, and we're coming out of that festive, outward Leo moon, and it's nice to kind of begin to the beginning of the week, the end of the weekend, we had that Leo lift, and then coming into Monday, having that Leo energy still of the moon. And then we get into now the beginning of the week, that Virgo moon. And for me, Virgo moons are all about movement, action. I get busy, I start cleaning, I start organizing, throwing away, getting things lined up. I just kind of start feeling it as we ingress into that area. I don't know. I'm just kind of highly wired, I guess, these days. But this gives us a chance to clean, to sort, to organize things that, sometimes we need to do once a month. And I always feel the Virgo moon coming on. And I like to clean. I like order and organization. So for me, I really make use of this nice earthy moon. It's one of my favorite moons. Um, but we got to just be careful, that we don't get um, too rigid in all of that, but also it opens up being more health conscious, getting more healthy habits, drinking more water, attention on our health, either making changes or maintaining things. And it's also work oriented. If you're not cleaning, you're working, or duty bound, it's very helpful. So it's kind of good it's a good time to get things going, diet, hygiene, daily schedules, your work routine, things like that. So that's what's the good part of now coming into this week. And then we have the moon. After that, we move into Libra. It gets us more interested outward, with others, relationships, partnerships of all kinds, making balance, seeing things from another perspective, restoring balance, restoring emotional, imbalance. We're always working on that. Um, it's nice. It's kind of like it's an interesting moon. It's like you kind of maybe put more attention on aesthetics and beauty in yourself or your home, um, in the world in general. It's also nice. It's, good decorating kind of moon, elegance, maybe more appreciative of finer things, not crass or gross at this point. And then near the end of the week, and we get into some of our things we're going to talk about in a minute, the moon moves into Scorpio, and that's a difficult place for the moon. If we remember our relationships, our rulerships, we know the moon is at home in Cancer, loves to be there, of course. And then its detriment, where it would always be the opposite of where the home is. So opposite of Cancer is Capricorn. And then there's the second home for every planet, the home away from home, called the exaltation. Moon, if it's not home in Cancer, loves to be in Taurus. I kind of would almost think that it might like to be a little better sometimes. But anyway, when the moon is opposite of where it's exalted, exalted up high, and then fall. Moon is in its fall in Scorpio. So it's like it's under the magnifying glass. It's being interrogated. And that's kind of a rough place for the moon. It's intense there. The moon, it feels everything, just like, oh man. Um, Passion, it's great. It's, joy, it's wonderful. Sorrow, oh no. Others, hate or negativity just gets, intensified. So be careful on emotions during the Scorpio moon. I kind of like to use it to get into the bottom of something, investigate, follow something down a rabbit hole, see if something's true or not. Um, Yeah, so anyway, that's what kind of we're coming into the end of the week, and we're more on those three. I mean, we just had the little bit of the Leo moon today, but then we're getting more into that part of the moon cycle. All right. Other than that, today's interesting. We have a what did I say? It's a alignment. There we go, with Jupiter and the moon nodes. We see the degree 10 degrees, 10 degrees, and we also see Mercury just got off of a sextile to that, right? And then it would be a sextile over here. So we got some interesting sextiles happening this week, but we'll look at this one. It's exact. We'll talk about Mercury there and helping it out. So we got big Jupiter making a trine over to the south node, and it would be sextile over to the north node in Aries. Aries and Gemini are sextile. Gemini and Libra are trine. So we have an air trine, with all three of these. I mean, not an air trine. What am I saying? We have an air emphasis with this a little bit of the cardinal fire energy. So it's the air and fire, get things going. So we've got that push pull, with the nodal placement of others and then ourselves. And then we have that expansive Jupiterian, many, look at many things, Jupiter aspects. So this is kind of interesting. Maybe it's sorting things out, letting go of the past. There's a lot about letting something go. And this week we have these kind of repeated themes a little bit over and over. So here's one of them. And then with Mercury, it's separating sextile over here to Jupiter, we've got that communication, that big communication, or from the heart, or communicating big words coming out. And there's, a lot of interesting things now in the media, at least, on the political scene, which is always fun to watch as a barometer of astrology. So we have the backlash of the first debate, and I think the big Biden boot, big boy gets the big boot. So we're beginning to see that the knives come out, and that narrative have some light shed on it. So that's just interesting. It's one thing off the top of my head. There's a lot more, but it's just interesting for me to watch that as a barometer, again, to validate and get some kind of a agreement on astrological timing. Okay, anything else today I want to mention? Oh yeah, this is mainly this is like a release of energy. We get to kind of release some of this, which is also what the whole Uranus Mars thing is too. So we've got the first part, and Jupiter there is ahead, and the sign ahead. So it kind of gives us some hope. Sometimes you have to release things and accept things, and we'll get to some more versions of that. All right, so tomorrow we have the sun making a trine over to Saturn. It's coming into the trine. It's like it's where I have it set, it's 55 minutes, and it's almost over there. So it actually starts into that on late Wednesday into Thursday. But the sun, and then we just had Venus trine Saturn on July 2nd, right? So you can see, Venus is over here. So it was when it was at that 28 or 18 degree area, it was making that trine. So now the sun is, so that's good. We have that nice watery, emotional trine, which I think kind of sets us up for some of the rougher things coming. So it's like you get that emotional, compassionate fix on something. There we go. That's the best way I can say that. So that's what we have tomorrow, coming into Thursday. The sun, our egos, doing things for the higher good. It gives us some kind of a stability and something to focus on. Saturn is not a bad, it gets a bad rap. It's a taskmaster, but if you put in the discipline, if you do the right thing, if you don't just say, screw it, man, let somebody else do it, or I'm just gonna ignore it, because then bad things will follow. If you just ignore things, if you let it go like that. And that's not how Saturn rolls. It's like, no, you said you were going to do this, you agreed, now do it. And if you don't, then you get consequences. But people go, getting babies. And this is where Saturn gets all PO'd and then, brings things in on people. So I put that out whenever there's something not to our liking. Look and see if you've done what either you said that you were going to do or what you really should do. There's the right way. And there's sometimes, of course, I'm not saying when you're confused about something or you don't know, or it turns a different corner, or there's all that, but that's just on your level. So that way, hey, it's like, look, I did it right. I did it to the best of my ability. Now I can sleep at night. That's what Saturn likes you to do. Okay, moving on into, is there anything else on? No, let's moving on to Thursday. Now, Venus, we can just, well, let me go. See, you can see here that it's like it's moving, Venus moving pretty quick here. She's going to be at the 29 degrees, which, you'll see it just changed, but see, it's now making that trine over to Neptune. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to the next day because you can see that she just went, and then the time I have it just went past it. But anyway, so then Venus now, we've had the Sun trine Saturn, now we have Venus trine Neptune, and then it quickly moves into Leo. But that Venus trine to Neptune, the benefics, that's awesome, Wednesday into Thursday for pulling in spiritual intent. That's the way I like to put it, spiritual intent. It's not just, it could be, you could just screw it up and just have a lazy, dreamy day, and that may be fine too, but, asking for divine guidance, pulling in higher thought, pulling in the right thing to do, pulling in the angels, pulling in the prayer, the positive purpose is what that's all about. The two beautiful benefics, are they're into that nice relationship before Venus moves into Leo. Okay, then Venus moves into Leo. And then it's like, ooh, wow, what was that? Maybe I could put some action here. Interesting place. So there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Well, anyway, so Mercury here is, I don't often give you these because it's hard math, but there's a square and a half from Mercury over to Neptune. It's not quite the opposition. Square and a half is 135 degrees. Here's 180, right? So you can see it's close. So it's a slight irritation. It's a little bit of maybe watching our mouth while this is happening. Maybe or listen to somebody else's. It could be saying too much, bragging inadvertently, saying things you shouldn't, because Mercury, and then you're in this pompous Leo, and it's kind of like trying to fight the fog. So just be a little leery of that. When in doubt about saying something, don't. Okay. So yeah, that one's got going on. But it's kind of making a slight foggy thing, that Mercury, Neptune, it's questioning what's real. I think also it's like, well, what is real? It's in this Neptunian fog, and what is it? And here Mercury's trying to make sense of it. Okay, yeah. So authority or a reality check, you're trying to make things real, but what is reality? Sometimes it's not what we think. That's where that pulling in that spiritual fortitude is kind of what it's all about. Then it won't get so sticky. All right, and moving into Friday. Now we got the Venus starts. There's the opposition to Pluto. So here's, it's like a difficult dive of emotions. We have to go deep here. Venus has got to go deep, to bring that spiritual light to some depth of what's going on, to make some positive, like sorting things out. What is real? Neptune is the release point. It's like a spiritual place, or it's our imagination, and we have to face it and not avoid it. It kind of diverts over to there. And that deep Pluto, it kind of passed that over to that spiritual side, what it just did before it moved over here. Okay. What else was here? Oh yeah, it's hard to know what's going on. And then and they're questioning, are we doing the right thing? So that's just, it's all kind of like a little complex of all that happening. And then where's the moon? Then the moon moves into Libra and goes over to South Node. So we got others. Maybe we have to release others, a part of others, something we thought about others, release a partnership, let go of something we think isn't working. What else could that be? Have the emotions to it's like the release point. That's what I'm with the South Node, releasing, releasing that balance of something that wasn't in balance. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting day. Luckily, it goes over quickly. Anything else on this day I have? Let's see. There's, well, see now the moon, then the moon will trine over to Jupiter. So it's kind of like an interesting, we get it, we get that alignment of Jupiter over to the South Node. And then when the moon triggers that, that might be when something expansive or some expansive realization, or, I'm also sensing false flags. Oh no. See, Mars is getting closer to this. And then here it's got to have a release. Here we have the moon or something in motion. We got the South Node. And then we have something large. We have Venus, many things, the populace, people. So I'm thinking there may be some kind of shenanigans starting somewhere here. Just pointing it out. And then we have moon as a trigger. What time is this? One in the afternoon, Eastern time on Friday. So things start to kind of get interesting. But I think the timing here with Mars and Uranus will be even more, but let's keep that in mind. All right, and we're going into Saturday. All right, another odd aspect, but I wanted to point it out because things are going to get kind of testy, and sometimes there's some other things, I don't always do a lot of those other, again, weird aspects, but there's like another square and a half a square with Mars now and the nodes. So we have Mars and the North Node, with the half a square, and then Mars and the South Node, we got the square and a half. And there is more tension. This is more tension. This stuff, something's got to be released here. See, now the moon has already crossed over to the South Node, and then now Mars is coming in and making some kind of something, defending boundaries. It's touchy. Lack of calmness, and it's going to get kind of more of that as Mars gets closer to Uranus. So we've got some difficulties. Again, I would say to kind of wall off the world a lot, as much as you can coming into Monday. Sunday late, Sunday's usually a down day anyway, and then Monday, and then there could even be some weird aftermath on Tuesday. But I just think it's just sort of a volatile time. Stay out of harm's way, stay out of too much confrontation or anything with people. Let things pass. Okay, so I think this is a big deal. I'm showing you the setup here of something I think interesting coming down the pipe. And then again, we got some other weird kind of aspects as we come into Sunday. We've got Venus now in that square and a half to Saturn. I got to give you these because they're there. And again, I don't always point these out because it's just more math, and if you don't have a program, you may not check it, but anyway, it's just an odd thing, and it's an unsettlement. It's not a nice flow. These are conversations between certain types of energies. We have something nice, comfortable, what you like, with the light shine on it. Yay, Venus and Leo, look at me, I'm dazzling, but yet I'm not getting along with Saturn. It's a not good angle there. It's like the reality check, or like the rules aren't working. It doesn't feel good. So that's kind of coming into Sunday. And I think again, more icky, false flag, something trying to be set and it's not. And then the moon, we've got moon now, we're into this, it's perfect the way I have it lined up. Good. We got a good square, with Pluto. Moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio, and it's investigative, and if I gotta look, I'm gonna be testy. I'm gonna be a little angry underneath it, and you start talking like this. That's that moon in Scorpio when it's all pissed off and squaring Pluto. Yeah, and squaring Venus. That's not a real nice energy. We got this T-square here with the moon being sandwiched in. So moon doesn't like it. It's emotions. So watch your emotions and watch being backed in a corner. Um, yeah, somebody pointing a finger at you. It's hard to trust, what you're bumping into, what you're bumping up against. You're like, I don't know about this. This just does not feel good. That's what I'm saying. Stay home, but keep it dull. Read a book, you know, don't overreact to things. And if there's people that are in your life, you may do better working some stuff on the inside before you have to go confront them, because it is a volatile time. We've got this Mars, Uranus explosive energy coming. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Anything else I want to talk to you? Do I have Chiron on here? No, I didn't busy with it. But there's an interesting Sun square Chiron. Chiron is Sun. I'm not a whole lot into the asteroids because there's really a lot of just other things, but it's popular. It's that wounded healer, the wounded warrior, but with the Sun squaring it, it's like we're like um there's something that we're trying to heal and something that we keep getting in the way by trying to fix something you can't at this point. Something's beyond your control and you can't fix it. So you might have to just, work on the inside about it, not so much on the outside with this type of a thing. It's like that lack of confidence or that lack of security is something that you can't do anything about. So the truth is, the magic of this whole thing is to admit it, that we don't have the answer. But we just have to admit that to ourselves and that we are, fallible and we need help and we need to call in the higher powers for the resolution on that. So that's kind of how that Sun square, the wounded healer energy sort of plays in there. All right, then as we go deeper into Sunday and Monday, we also have Mercury making a quincunx. You can see it's 18 degrees, making a 150-degree angle over to Saturn. So they're not quite opposition. Remember that the quincunx, like this one, there's nothing in common. This is Pisces is feminine, water. Leo is masculine, fire. Fixed, masculine, fire. And we have mutable, feminine, water. Nothing in common. So this is irritating. That's annoying. It's like, the words that we're saying aren't working. They're only creating more irritation and upsetting things that we're trying to get across. So that's what I'm saying. Just shut up. If you can't have anything to say, shut up, wait for this to end, and things will change. This is just one of those things. By knowing astrology, try to write it, make yourself some notes. This is like as you're watching your mouth going blah blah blah, you're gonna, oh, I should have listened. No, really, and I'm totally guilty of this right now in my life with certain things that are beyond my control. I kind of worked through a lot of this last week, but it's still kind of in the mix. So anyway, that's the whole setup for Monday, when Mars comes over and meets and gives Uranus a nice kiss. It's like, oh boy, we got to work on self-restraint, really, self-discipline, the desire to just blow up. But it's not, it's like redirecting that energy. We got to, instead of acting from anger, we got to, come from power. But sometimes you have to get angry enough to shift it into power. So anyway, it's our redirecting our impulse to take down what's in the way. And when you're all angry, you can't think clearly. We need to be more wise with how we're working things out and use our courage by acting in a constructive way. And watch that lashing out. That moon there, it's going to be opposing Mars as it goes later in the day. Look at there, I got 13 here, and it's as we come into Tuesday, let me just go one day and see where it goes there. Yeah, look, as we go into Tuesday, it's just give it a couple degrees, and the moon opposes that energy, right? So this is going to be like watching that lashing out. Be careful of that vindictiveness or that told you so or whatever. But back to the Uranus and Mars conjunction here. I got a few things I wanted to join. So they join forces in Taurus for one thing. And it's also like irritation. We got two, we got, throwing a hot cigar butt into a tindered forest, that kind of an energy. Mars is like the feisty planet of action and drive. Uranus, the electrifying, erratic, unpredictable harbinger of change and revolution. This, if we're not seeing some kind of a thing in the world, I think we will here. I don't want to say false flag, but I want to say false flag. It could be something set up. It's something aggressive. It's some kind of impulsive thing. Yeah. So just as a sudden summer thunderstorm, I'm going to give you the positive side now, can clear the air and bring relief from the oppressive heat, this conjunction has the potential to shake things up in ways that may be jarring at first, but ultimately refreshing and liberating. So this is the thing where I think group think, we need to release the energy without letting it get out of control. It's a cosmic shakeup. And it's not just about chaos and disruption, but it's there. It's underneath in the signature. And look at that moon we got coming right into that square, the opposition. And then Mercury is close to that. Where was I? Neptune's past it. The sun is getting close to involved. I'm just looking at all the other planets close by, in within range of having part of that conversation. We got a passing sextile with Neptune, maybe adding some disillusion or some gaslighting. We've got sextile on the other side with the sun, trying to be good about it and move it forward. We've got Mercury getting into the square, as it's getting closer to, that degree, it's still into that conversation. That we already talked about the moon, it's coming right into that opposition. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and even Saturn, because it's still still in that sign there, in that sextile sign. Okay, so a lot of planets though in this conversation. That's what I'm saying. It's not just an isolated thing. There's many, many parts of this here. So it's about making it. It's happening. Okay, I already said it's happening Taurus, and we know Taurus is an Earth sign. And Earth signs want stability and material concerns. So again, the energy is revolutionary, and it's not just about change. It's like I don't want to just say something for the sake of saying it or hearing myself say it. I want to say it and have the effect. See, and that's what we were talking about, the weird Mercury thing being not able to really bring it out. So it's making it something real. It's making something concrete, tangible, changes that improve your daily life, your daily reality, aligning your outer world with your inner truth. Ooh, it's making something hard, more palatable. So what's the key to harnessing this? It's like just accepting it consciously and intentionally. And do you want desperately to, do you want to change or have you been too afraid to try? This is your chance to break free from those self-imposed limitations and create a life that genuinely excites you. So this is good for that, and it's good to navigate this conjunction. Remember, its purpose is ultimately liberating in our own lives. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, could be even scary, but change often is like that. But on the other side of this cosmic storm lays the potential for a more authentic, exciting life aligned with your true self. So stay open to the unexpected, trust your instincts, and be willing to let go of what no longer serves you. Oh, so that's kind of the week, but I did want to point out one thing, just give you one other thing just to think about. Mercury is starting to slow down. It's going to be flying through Leo through the month, and then it's going to start to slow down as it kind of hits into Virgo. Then it's going to go retrograde. So this stuff now, is soon to be repeated. When a couple days from now, next week we'll see it, like Wednesday, next Tuesday, Wednesday, when Mercury's at 21 Leo, that's where it retrograde. Well, let me just show you. Hold on. I'm going to show you. It'll be easier. Okay. Okay, so we can see now July, and these glyphs on this one are a little hard to read, but we can see this sign is Mercury up here, and we have we're already into Leo. We saw that we're Leo over here, the 10th. Today the 9th, it was like 10 degrees, seeing what's right here. See, it looks, this little Leo sign next to these numbers is kind of weird to read if you don't see it, but so we got 10, 11, 12. Let's see, it's just like clipping along. It's going through. Then now it goes into Virgo. Now we're seeing it. See, it's like starting to slow down now. See, it's like 0, 0. So 2 days it's at that degree, and then 1, and then we go 2, 2, 2. So the last 3 days of this month, it's all at the same degree. And then we're going to go to August. And then on August 1st, it's at 3 degrees Virgo. So you can look at 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. And then on the 6th of August, you see it turns red here, which means in this ephemeris here, it means it's retrograde. So we see at 4 Virgo, it turns retrograde. So it goes back, right? 4, 3, 3. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4 days, like here at 3. So it's moving pretty slow. Look at that. Wow. 2, 2, 1. It's getting a little speed, going retrograde now. 0, 0, 29, 29, 27. There's 21. Look where we're at today. 21. And then here it's starting to slow down. Look at it. It's like 22, 22, 22, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. And then here on the 29th, it looks like there, yeah, 29th, it goes direct because it turns back to black. So, and look at all these days at 21. So we have 1, 2, 3 retrograde, 1, 2, 3 direct, and let's go into September. Yeah, 6 days it'll be at 21 degrees, which is where it'll be like next Tuesday. So where we are, and remember this, where we are at now, we're really not going to make it, we're going to make some forward change, and then it's going to go back, and we're not going to go any more forward on certain things until like the middle of September, when it is out of that shadow area. Okay, so we'll see back over here 28, 22, 22, 23, 23. See, we've been at that part there. We've been 23, 24, 26. Then it's going to go 0. Then we go into Virgo, and it's right here at 4 Virgo where it went retrograde. So right here on the 12th of September is when, is as far as, I hope you can understand this. I'm trying to say it the right way, don't confuse you. That's the furthest that it went before it turned retrograde at 4 Virgo. Okay. So it's not going to be until the middle of September that we're really gaining new territory. See, now it goes 5, 6, and we start picking up speed. So this whole kind of first part of September, it's just going to be sort of like where we're at now. So we're going to go forward now until we hit the retrograde, go back. Back to, all right, so Mercury going forward, forward, forward. We're going to keep going forward, seeing a look at, and it's that we go into that, all month, it goes into Virgo, but it's slowing down. And then right here at the beginning of August is when it goes retrograde at 4 Virgo. See, it's slowing down. And then that is the farthest that it goes before it gets yanked backwards. So it gets yanked backwards, not really, but, and it will trek back from our perspective. And then here it's like, is where now it turns around again to go forward. So that's where it's at a long time here at that 21 degrees, which is where we are just about at now. June, whoops, went back too far. July. Okay, so back to there, and I'm done. See, what's today? The 9th. See, we're almost there. So next week we'll be like slowing down. So we got this next week is what I wanted to make this point, to really make some grounds, because here we're not going to get past where we go next week for about the next month-ish, right? A little over that, because we're 3 weeks retrograde and we got to go forward. So it's like a good 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I think this is another time where, it's like you get that long, lazy summer feeling. And then when we get a retrograde motion that goes forward, that's we get jerked ahead. And then it seems like we just are in a rush to the end of the year. So it's just kind of a nice little reprieve before all that rush starts. And we know there's going to be a lot of chaos as we get closer to the beginning of November. All right, so that is it for today. And let me just get back over just to, nope. Oh, I gotta get this one. All right, so have a good week, stay safe, remember to curb that tongue, but liberation and paying attention to your needs and working it on the external, but really reining in this energy, self-discipline, power, not anger. All right, thanks for listening. Bye for now.